To help me set up for our newest house rules on rebranding, I thought it might be useful to use a real-life example. That led me to the Cola Wars of the 1980s, and what many believe to be the biggest marketing blunder ever. Back in the day, Coca-Cola was the soda, but in the 70s and 80s, along comes Pepsi and their marketing campaign of the Pepsi Challenge, which was just a blind taste test pitting Pepsi against Coke. Pretty simple stuff, but the strategy actually worked really well on the brass at Coca-Cola, and despite still being the world's best-selling soft drink, in 1985 decided to alter their recipe to compete with the sweeter Pepsi. They released New Coke. Bomb. People hated it. After a month, Coca-Cola is fielding like 5,000 calls a day from angry consumers. A month later, 8,000 calls a day, and so after like 3 months, they bail on it, bring back the old recipe, and dub it Coca-Cola Classic. I'm Alex House, and that not-so-short story is a cautionary tale when it comes to rebranding, both the good and the bad, and can offer some real insight for any brand, including financial advisors, when it comes to rebranding. There are a few reasons why you might need a rebrand. Maybe you moved into a new market. Maybe you separated from a previous partner and you need a new brand because they took the old one. Or maybe your brand was simply from the 80s and 90s and it doesn't stand the test of time to reach your new clients who are getting younger and younger. One thing we see a lot of is ambiguous logos, or in some cases, morbid logos. One advisor we worked with had a name like Legacy Planning, with a logo of just an oak tree. When you see that, it can feel more like a company that specializes in funerals and not necessarily retirement. Another instance where rebrand might be necessary can be completely out of your control. Imagine having a practice called J. Dahmer Retirement. Those Google searches are not going to be kind. The first thing I would recommend is to audit what you currently have. A big question to ask yourself is, do I really need a rebrand? Also, do your research into your current demographic. What your ideal clientele was 30 years ago is probably not what it is today, and you want to make sure your brand matches who you're trying to target. Pro tip, ask your client advisory board for their feedback. They're your most trusted resource, and you want them to be proud to represent your brand. If you decide a rebrand is right for you, what's next? Well, first and foremost, you want to work with a trusted partner who's going to deliver quality work. One thing I can't stress enough about rebrands is don't cut corners. This is important. You want to make an investment into your practice. Don't go online and simply buy another logo that somebody else might have. If you decide to cut corners, you're going to pay the price later. It's not going to be unique to you and help you stand out in your marketplace. The logo is an obvious place, but it'll be pretty easy to miss some of those details that sneak up on you that need that rebranding as well. This could be your website, your email signatures, your social media platforms. Don't forget about those other online profiles like the Better Business Bureau that have your logo that they pulled from previous websites. The last thing you want to do is create brand confusion for a new prospect that maybe heard you on radio but sees a bunch of different brands online. They should all be updated at one time before you officially launch to any client or prospect. And your printed material list is probably pretty long too. A rebrand does take some time, from building that logo down to having that last piece redesigned. So give yourself plenty of time to get through all that information. In total, I would say a year to really onboard your clientele and get them to start using the new brand name. In the end, there might be some bumps along the way, but ultimately, a rebrand is designed to help your practice. If you're inspired to rebrand your practice and you're thinking about starting with that business name, we have a house rules on unique business names and how that can help your practice. And while you're there, check out our other videos on our YouTube page that will transform your practice. That'll do it for house rules. As always, like and subscribe for more.